So the man who's being interviewed here, who has the accent, he's from Angola. His name is Gabriel Esteval. He's somebody who was the grandson of a great chief in Angola. And for you to be a great chief in Angola, you have to be very connected to the spirit world. So the spirits told his grandfather how this man Gabriel would be born and brought up. He was going to be brought up by the spirits themselves, and so his constant companions were evil angels. He was brought up to eat a certain way, to live a certain way, so that he could have a connection with the spirit world. So he's going to share with you how he was trained to live. Okay.
Okay.
What you like to see, what you like to hear. Okay, I can't from this the five sense. Okay, the five sense. I can know who are you. Okay, but for that side, there's a restriction for people that want to become a god or an idol. Okay, or a star. Okay, for the in the word, you need to follow all rules from there, from that side. One of them is food. Okay, you need to eat on time. You need to eat on time, not no time that you want to eat, but eat on time according to your body, according to your function of the body. Okay, for food, okay, 5 hours apart. Okay, for juice, 2 hours.
So every
Okay.
2 hours.
Every 2 hours, you need to drink juice, natural juice.
Natural
okay?
juice.
Okay, natural juice from the fruits.
From fruits.
Okay, from fruit. This fruit from the farm. Okay, and the day that side, there are a very very restriction about a diet. Okay, you need to be
Healthy.
You need to eat because from food, the food will be your
Medicine.
your medicine. You don't need to go to hospital because the food will be your medicine. Okay, food that side is a medicine. They taught me about that. For a long time, since I was born, until I grow up, before until I left that side, I didn't go to hospital. I didn't know what is it hospital.
Wow.
Yes, because the food was my medicine. Okay.
So it's interesting. So you're saying that in that system, those that want to be a god, and meaning they want to be a part of the system, a part of the illuminated, high up in the system, they have diet restrictions.
Yes.
By the evil angels.
Yeah.
You had to eat. Your meals had to be 6 hours apart, 5 hours apart.
5 hours apart.
5 hours apart. And you had to drink every 2 hours.
Okay.
Natural juices.
Natural juice. Even food can be natural. Natural.
So no
anything.
No processed food.
No. This is natural.
What about meat? Did they eat meat?
I'm talking about natural.
So
food,
vegetarian.
Vegetable. Thing from the farm.
Right. So
okay,
vegetables, fruits, herbs.
Cassava, maybe we have cassava here.
Right.
Cassava and potato.
Right.
Okay, these things, beans. Okay, for all these things on time. You need to eat on time, according to his their wills. Okay.
So why couldn't you eat processed foods, like food in a package?
Oh no, that side that this food for slaves. For slaves need to eat that because they don't have a control for their mind. We need to control their mind for that side.
Wow.
But you need to eat well, a healthy food, because you need to have a good mind. Okay, to think well.
Right.
Okay, because you want to become a god, a idol, or a star.
A star.
Okay, in that side. Okay, you need to eat that thing. That is very restriction.
Which is very, very restrictive.
Because you need to have a good mind. Okay,
a clear mind.
Okay, a clear mind, and then you need to enter in, connect with the spirit, because you will become a spiritual China, a medium.
Also, so eating these kinds of foods helped you to maintain your connection with the spirits.
Okay, to have a good mind. Okay, so if you will hear nicely.
That's amazing. You know, I wanted to share this.
That's
Go
great.
ahead. You wanted to say something?
I did actually. I sent you a text, by the way. Take a look at it when you got a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing information right there. Yeah.
Okay. So, could we start doing question? Oh yeah, we can start doing question. I just want. We're almost done here. We're almost done. The reason I want to share this is this. They have a health message. They have a purpose why. They want to be in connection with Satan because they want to be a star here in this world. And the thing is that not only do they have a counterfeit of our health message, but it's plus, it's one thing that he didn't mention here, plus blood. Every morning they would drink blood.
Interesting.
It was the blood of human children. And the way that they viewed it is that these people are already dead. If you look at false religions all over, like even like the New Age stuff, they think that people who aren't enlightened like them, they're not really humans and living. That's the way Satan causes us to be able to do cruel things to each other. But if you look at all of this, it is idolatry. It is idolatry that is coming into the church. I want to illustrate that with this quote here. The Adventist Church does not condone abortions. Many lives have been saved through the judicious use of vaccines. Adventists also continue to advocate for them to be produced ethically. We support the saving of life and maintenance of herd immunity through responsible practices of this kind of medicine. A huge price was paid in the early 1960s. Since then, many lives have been saved. So, brother, you see that is human sacrifice that is coming into our thinking that people have to die for the making of medicines for the saving of humanity. That is a pagan ideology. If you go to the next slide, it's from Spirit of Prophecy, where the first and second commandments spoken by Jehovah are precepts against idolatry. For if idolatry of practice would lead men to great lengths of sin and rebellion, result in the offering of human sacrifices. This is the biggest reason why I think that these cannot be the number one thing that we as Adventists have to offer the world for them to get better. You know, I had at Years Restored, we had a client whose his company produced these things during the last 4 years. And when I shared with him this quote, he said, that is true. He said, every day when I was making these injections, I had to go collect blood because to make these injections, you need fresh blood. And then it says this, the next slide, this is a very, very interesting, powerful comment here. It says, there are simple herbs and roots that every family may use for themselves and need not call a physician any sooner than they would call a lawyer. Isn't that amazing? Like, how many times in your life have you called a lawyer? And yet when I go to Adventist schools and churches and I say, hey, what do you guys do when you get sick? All these kids raise their hands and they say, I go see the doctor, or I go take a Tylenol, or this kind of thing. And so, brothers and sisters, you have a wealth of herbs, a wealth of remedies that we have a history of knowing. And they're all at your fingertips. And I want to share with you the next slide. The next slide, we're going to share with you. This is a video that it's called, what's the YouTube channel? I want to give them credit. Valid Reason. And he shares about what happened during the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu was when millions of people in the earth perished. 500 to 600,000 people in the United States alone. And this is what some Seventh-day Adventist institutions did. So we're going to play that video.
Happened. In 1918, a similar scenario took place. Newspaper articles from that year tell us that schools, churches, and businesses were all shut down for months as people tried to stop the spread of H1N1, also known as the Spanish flu. The fear today is that the infection and death rates from COVID-19 will reach the numbers that were seen during the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic, which the CDC estimates was 500 million infected and anywhere between 50 to 100 million deaths in a matter of months. Infection was spreading rapidly, and there was even one college in Hutchinson, Minnesota that had a 75% infection rate among its students. But here's the thing. Now listen carefully, no one died. And not only did no one die, but no one was even critically ill. This was unprecedented at the time, when for many, getting this infection meant a death sentence. This is a section from a publication in 1918 entitled Seminary Cinches Flu. Hutch Institution makes a record combating disease. Their success was so stunning that the health officer of Hutchinson City stated that no public institution in the state of Minnesota has up-to-date made a record in handling influenza, the worldwide epidemic that has swept millions into their graves, like that to the credit of Hutchinson Seventh-day Adventist Seminary. One of the fears of the coronavirus pandemic is that the health system will get overwhelmed with infected patients. If this happens, there's the possibility that thousands or perhaps millions will not have access to medical treatment. So, what if you or someone you love is one of those people who doesn't have access to proper medical treatment? Well, the fact of the matter is that as of today, there aren't any miracle drugs to cure coronavirus. But the people at Hutchinson Seventh-day Adventist Seminary didn't have any drugs either. In this same article from page 2 of the Northern Union Reaper, it says, every person showing indication of sickness was at once put to bed with a trained nurse taking temperature and watching for symptoms of the epidemic. If those symptoms developed, the patient was required to remain in bed. There were no drugs to be given. Let me repeat that. There were no drugs to be given. But with complete rest and quiet went a carefully regulated diet and fomentations applied to the throat, chest, and abdomen. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. This college had 75% of its students infected with Spanish flu. This is an article from The Atlantic, which says nearly half of the dead, which numbered in tens of millions, were adults aged 20 to 40. Well, students at Hutchinson Seventh-day Adventist Seminary would clearly have been in this age range. So let's see what their outcome was. As a result of this system of handling a disease that is scoring thousands of victims every day, there has not been one case that could have been called serious or a single death in the seminary, although there were more than 90 persons affected. The record is remarkable. It makes the ordinary methods of dealing with flu appear irrational. Now, don't miss this. Thousands were dying every day from this disease. This school had no deaths, and everything that they did at Hutchinson Seminary to save lives came at no cost. This is so important. Everything mentioned in that article is not only free, but more importantly, it's freely available. No drugs are free. Rest is free. Fomentations are free. And except for the cost of food, a regulated diet is free. The numbers speak for themselves. 75% infection rate, 0% mortality. And at a time when people around the world are worrying about healthcare, these numbers simply cannot be ignored. But wait, there's more. This is a report from Eastern Canadian Missionary Seminary, now known as Kingsway College, located in Oshawa, Ontario, found in a publication named The Review and Herald, December 12, 1918. Nearly 50 students were sick with the influenza at one time. School began again yesterday, and things are looking brighter and better. Practically everyone now is well enough to be at his duties. Even the doctors downtown feel that some unusual power helped us overcome this sickness. We believe that had we not been vegetarians, things would have been worse. Here's a report from South Lancaster Academy, located in South Lancaster, Massachusetts, also known as SLA, December 26, 1918. The boys and girls in our school dormitories did not escape. While the majority of cases were of a mild type, some were very serious, and if treated by ordinary drug methods, would undoubtedly have resulted fatally. Doctors who had patients dying day by day marveled at the fact that in our large and crowded dormitories, with practically no professional nurses in attendance, we had no fatalities. For ourselves, we attribute it under God to the fact that we put into operation the methods of treating the sick, which for years have been a part of our denominational belief. As a matter of fact, they had so much success at SLA that they confidently went out into the community to treat the sick. The health officers thanked them publicly for their assistance and said that it was largely owing to the efforts of our students that the disease was stayed as quickly as it was. Let me give you one more. This one is about Emmanuel Missionary College, now known as Andrews University, also December 26, 1918. The influenza caused our school to close for a little more than 4 weeks. We have had about 50 cases. All of them have made a good recovery, save one. Generally speaking, at the present time, the health of our students is good. We are planning to have a health campaign in which special instruction regarding healthful living will be given. We feel that it is very important not only that our students value good health, but know how to have it. So, here are the final numbers. 90 infected at Hutchinson Seventh-day Adventist Seminary, nearly 50 at Canadian Missionary Seminary, now known as Kingsway College, 50 more at Emmanuel Missionary College, now known as Andrews University, and while we don't have the numbers at South Lancaster Academy, let's be conservative and assume 25 got sick. So that's about 215 students in the age range that was experiencing up to half of the infected deaths, and there was one death. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a 99.5% success rate. So why were they so successful, and who were these?
So that was an excerpt from Valid Reason from their YouTube channel.
I want to quickly say this was very, very good. I'm familiar with the individual behind this video. Um, yeah, wow. I've never heard of that story.
Yeah. Well, when I went to a natural remedies program at Wildwood, it was in 2000 and I think it was 2007 that I went there, and they shared about what happened in 10 of our institutions at the time. It was the same kind of thing where the mortality rate was like less than 1%, and it was all with hydrotherapy and this kind of thing. And so that when I heard that, I was like, I gotta let people know, because they gave it in the context of this is what happened in the Spanish flu, and we might have another pandemic. And I thought we need to let people know that these ways are powerful. And so when I got home, I started thinking like, who do I share this with? And I thought I'm going to share this with people who fail antibiotics, because I didn't know what to do because I have a license and all of that, you know. And God led me to a lot of people who had pneumonias that were failing antibiotics and this type of thing, cellulitis, methicillin resistance, and God's ways with hydrotherapy, with charcoal, all of them got better. Like some of them, like they had a fever for days and days on antibiotics, and they would take one hot and cold shower, and they would be afebrile the next morning. You
Wow.
know, I mean, when you see things like that, you're like, you know that that's the Lord. You know that God is working, because all healing is from the Lord. And I really believe that, you know, the people that I would advise to do this, I didn't know what was going to happen. And there was sometimes I would feel like, oh, if this doesn't work, what are they going to think of me? And but we can't let that bother us. We have to teach people and be obedient to the Lord.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. All right, I'll let you keep going.
Yes, yes. So the next slide, it shares this amazing, amazing quote.
Happened. In
It says that altogether new methods of treating the sick are to be practiced. So is that a new method? According to the world, it is to help people with hydrotherapy, with charcoal, not with pharmaceuticals. Drug medication must be left out of the question if the human physician would receive the diploma written and issued in heaven. As reformers, we are to reform the medical practice by educating toward the light. So, did you know that that was the purpose for Seventh day Adventists? We were to be standard of care, evidence based medicine. Is that what we're supposed to do? No, we're supposed to reform it. We're supposed to give them altogether new methods of treating the sick. And then the next slide shows why institutions were to be established. Sanitariums were to reform the medical practices of physicians. See, this is the whole purpose of Seventh day Adventists being here in this world.